how do you see the monsters on the D line, with Hutch and Ajabo? How do you see them performing today or next week, and how do you think Georgia attacks them?
Well, if you're Georgia, the key is establishing the run, right? And keeping that and staying ahead of schedule, and as much as possible avoiding third and long situations. I mean, that's how you neutralize any great pass rush. Stay ahead of schedule, because if you're third and six, really third and seven and longer, that's going to take at least a couple seconds, unless it's some kind of blown coverage, at the line of scrimmage, for a quarterback to find the receivers to get to the sticks, and the quarterback to find that area they can exploit. And when you have a great pass rush like a Jabo and Hutchinson, it's it just that's really really tough to do, because not only are they getting to you quick, even if they don't sack you, that internal clock that a quarterback has gets quicker and quicker and quicker the more pressure they feel. So I think, yeah, Georgia has to be able to run the football, and vice versa for Michigan. Uh, I don't know what you're gonna do about that big fella in the middle. Um, Try and get him out the way, Jordan Davis. I mean, you told me to go back and watch a video of just how big this guy is. Man, I saw him chase down a running back going towards the sideline, and I couldn't think of anything more frightening than that. I mean, this dude is a monster, 6'5", 6'6", 325. And I would not be shocked, even though he obviously can't run a lot in consecutive plays. In a 40-yard dash, I won't be shocked if he runs a scary time based on his size. Like, he's fast, like a
Yeah.
4.7. Like, I mean, it was scary to watch him.
Well, the interesting part, in I guess what I didn't quite realize, and Uncle Lou told us yesterday, that a lot of times Jordan Davis will play on first down, and if it's 2nd and 10, he's off the field. So he'll have a play like that, Dre, where he's running and maybe stop a running back for whatever 1 yard gain or 1 yard loss or no gain, but then he's off the field. So he doesn't he's a first down, maybe a second down player, and if it's not third and short, 3rd and inches, he's not going to be in the game. So I think, while I don't think Michigan's game plan is tempo on offense, uh, I do think it would be an advantage to sprinkle that in a little bit. Like, that doesn't need to be your full time, because I feel like where you're at now, like in this game, just do what has gotten you here. Like, stick to playing your game, and I think it makes sense to sprinkle a little bit of that in to try to gas, especially someone like him and some of those other D linemen. So I would sprinkle a little tempo in, but I wouldn't try to turn myself into, an Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley, kind of, moving at breakneck speed. But I think it would help, especially, when you're talking about, a third down conversion and now you've got a first down. I think that would be a golden time to, make sure you keep your offensive personnel on the field in the game and, get up there and run another play. But we'll see
How
what
much are
happens.
you willing to bet that one of the first couple plays that Georgia has on offense is a shot to test Dax Hill? 'Cause based on the film, if you remember, Iowa did that right away and got a PI call. That Dax is a little. You recall the play I'm talking about? Dax kind of got beat a little bit, and I don't think he realized how far the ball was thrown. The receiver may have had a chance to get it, but he kind of panicked and he held the receiver. Those are the type of moments where it's like early in the game, like, maybe we can catch that guy sleeping a little bit and take a shot. Um,
I think Georgia probably will take a shot early, but I don't think it'll be against Daxon Hill. I think if they can get the matchup, it'll be James Cook motioning him out wide and seeing if a linebacker will go with him. And if it is a
or if
linebacker,
a
I think they're
Jabo will
definitely
go
going to
with
take a
him,
shot.
like what
I
Ohio
sh-
State did.
I surely hope he doesn't, but I do. Uh, he did drop in coverage a couple times, and yeah, that's not what you want
And
that guy
Ohio
doing.
State picked that apart. I'm like, what are you doing? Mark, when was that? I think it was. I know it was a third. I'm pretty sure it was a third down conversion. I'm trying to think.
It was number 11. I can't remember. I think he's got a hyphenated last name, something Smith,
Oh,
I
Smith.
think.
So it was Smith and
Smith.
Jibba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow in Ajabo, like he he like lines up. I'm like, what are they doing? Like what? It was just like
Yeah.
pitch and catch. I'm like, what are you doing? Let's
Well, that
There's
guy's going to be a
corners.
first round
Yeah, I was gonna
draft
say there's
pick.
corners who can't guard him. I'm not sure you want a first round defensive lineman DN doing that. As athletic as Ojabo is, but yeah, that's not what you want him doing.
The matchups that I want to see, or the decisions that I want to see from the coaching staffs, Kirby in particular, and we talked about this last night. And so anybody, Dre, we missed you last night, but anybody that wants to catch our live stream last night, we had Uncle Lou from Georgia YouTube fame, Justin Rowe, Blue by 90, Dez and myself chopping it up, Georgia and Michigan, which is a fun conversation, obviously, getting media from both sides to weigh in. So check out that live stream on the main channel. But two things. One would be, Des said the same thing, had the same take coming away from the SEC championship game, and that's that Brock Bowers is a monster. He is like I was surprised to say Uncle Lou only heard about him the week of the Clemson game, because I had heard about him way before that when they signed him.
It's a tight end, right?
The tight end, yeah. That they had 2 5-stars and Eric Gilbert that came in from LSU, and then they had Darnell Washington. Well, he was another 5-star from California, and I just didn't think that because of tenure that he would be much of a factor this year, but he needed to be. Washington got hurt. Gilbert,
I don't even know what's going on with that.
Yeah, just became AWOL again. And so he started playing, and oh my goodness. Yeah, he's just a baby, just a freshman, true freshman, and
Alabama couldn't cover him. They could
what
not
Michigan's
cover him.
going to need to do to be like, okay, what do we do with this guy? Because he might be more of a threat than their wideouts.
Yes.
So are they going to rely on safeties and tight ends? What are they going to do there?
Not linebackers. Do not put James Ross on them.
Your linebackers and safeties. Yeah.
Look, James Ross. Look, man. Like he's been I want to offend some of my fellow Michigan slappies, but he's a loyal kid. He's homegrown. He's been there for 5 years now. His brother played there. Let me get that all out the way, right? He's a good leader on the team. He does a good job in run support more times than not. But him in the passing game, man, especially against a really good tight end, let me just go ahead and shut that door now. No, you cannot do that. Do not have James Ross lined up on Bowers. That is a recipe for disaster. And the problem is, this is how impactful a really good tight end can be, is that they are literally a matchup nightmare because they're too big for safeties, unless you have a freak of nature like what was Chancellor for Seattle? What was Chancellor's first name?
Cam Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor or something like that. Some freaking nature big safety like that. Maybe Jamal Adams or something like that. But they're too big for them. They're too fast and athletic, for a linebacker. And it's just like, so what do you do? And I don't know if, and maybe Mark, what Michigan's strategy is, we'll let him go off and just make sure you prevent everything else. Because sometimes when a player is that great of a mismatch, it might be beneficial for you to let them get their numbers and you try to find other ways to shut down everybody else. I hope that doesn't sound silly, but it's just to a certain extent. You can't give up 65-yard bombs, but like let them get their 10 to 12-yard chunks every now and then, and you make sure you prevent other players taking over.
Well, knowing how Stetson makes decisions, he might complete 6 straight passes to him and be like, this is too easy. I need to make this a little more complicated. So let's try to fit one in over here.
In double coverage when I'm staring down that guy, and but no, Bowers is legit. And I think the answer to that question, and it may not be a good answer, is Dax Hill. And I say it may not be a good answer just because Bowers may still get the best of Dax Hill. I think Bowers is that talented. But what you hope is number one, with Bowers being a tight end, he's probably going to be lined up to the run strength. So you've got Dax right on the strength of the defense, and and also too just that matchup. I think as far as guys being inside, I think he would be probably the best that you would throw there with the mix of size and athleticism and experience. I mean, Dak's been playing since he was a true freshman, so I think that's probably going to be the best bet. But that's the cool part of these big games is that it is good on good, it's best on best, and talented guys all over the place. So I think that's probably their best matchup is Dax Hill versus Bowers. But like I said, Bowers did a number on the Alabama defense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes, oh boy, yeah. It's not much you can add. It's just like sometimes it's a defense you gotta pick your poison. And he just may be one of those guys that, and that's like I said, the quarterback position is so important because you can have all the weapons you want, but if you don't have to Mark's point, if you don't have the quarterback that can execute, that can look guys off, because you can't just stare guys down like, you do the Matt Stafford, stare down really good. Stare down really good players on your offense and just throw it to them because they're good, right? Like the defense doesn't know what's going there. So, yeah.
You really wouldn't take Matthew Stafford back?
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
You wouldn't take Matthew Stafford back,
Mark? You're opening up a can of worms.
Okay.
That's another.
All right.
That's a full string.
All right.
There.
That's a full string that
yes.
Des and I can go on forever. I'll say this really quickly. He's one of those guys that goes back even to his college days that if you want to understand why a certain narrative is built around a player, you can trace back his results all the way back to his college days, right? And you see kids like that in today. Now, kids who are highly talented, but struggle to put it all together in terms of winning. So, yeah. But no, I wouldn't take him back today. I'm glad we moved on.
Which ironically, where did he play in college? Of course, was a Georgia guy.
True. Yeah, Georgia.